Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I finally got the moment to sit down in peace and quiet without a baby crying to tell you guys my birth story. So we're gonna start from the beginning when I started to feel contractions. I was always super nervous and feared that I wouldn't know when I was about to give birth or go into labor, because I've heard a lot of stories where a lot of women don't experience any symptoms whatsoever and then all of a sudden the baby starts coming out. So I seriously was so terrified of that. So May 29th at 2 o'clock in the morning I started feeling some type of contractions. I was like, okay, maybe this is like Braxton Hicks contractions. I didn't really have much throughout pregnancy, so I was like, maybe that's the start of it, because I was 39 weeks pregnant and I think 2 days. So I was like, okay, alright, it's pretty bearable. So it went away for a little bit and then it kept coming back and kept coming back, and I tried to fall asleep again and nothing was working. I kept going to the bathroom. I needed to pee. I normally peed like 5 to 7 times anyways, so that was normal for me, and I just could not fall asleep. So I got to the point where I went to my living room and started to I tried to fall asleep on the living room couch because I didn't want to keep waking up my husband. But that wasn't working either. I was just kind of wide awake and I was like, okay, these contractions are kind of being consistent. So I was like, what is going on? Went to the bathroom again, and this may be TMI, but I did lose my mucus plug, and at first it was like a clear chunk of mucus. That's what technically it is. It does come in different colors, but mine was clear at first, and then 2 hours later I let out more of that mucus plug and it was a little bit of a darker color. Not necessarily like bloody or anything, but it was like, you know, like a dark beige, put it that way. So then at 7 o'clock and everything like that happened. My husband woke up. He was like, what is going on? He was worried throughout the whole night too, like, are you okay? And then I was like, okay, the next thing that could possibly happen is that my water breaks. I was like, okay, let's see if my water breaks. Because I know when you lose the mucus plug, it doesn't mean you're going straight into labor. Some women will lose it like a week before and then go into labor then. So I was like, well, that doesn't mean anything. I could still, you know, be carrying baby Jaden. So it got to 9 o'clock and I started timing my contractions, and they started getting closer and closer together. So at times it'd be like 8 minutes apart, 7 minutes apart, 6, and then 5 minutes apart, and it was kind of like fluctuating, so it wasn't like consistent 5 minutes apart yet. And I was like, I'm not going to call the doctor, because they gave me this piece of paper that said don't call unless this, and this was going on, especially during this whole pandemic. They didn't want you to call in for nothing or end up in the hospital for no reason as well. So my husband was like, just call. Like, he's the worry bug in the relationship and I'm like the really calm one, like, oh, okay, everything's fine. Until like maybe I'm like on my death sentence or something. So he made me call, and I literally was just like, I'm not sure, but I think I'm starting to go into labor. And so they asked me like about my contractions, and then they called me back and they were like, can you come in? I said, okay. So it was 12 o'clock when I went in, and they put me on the machine to check my contractions, made me press the little button, and I was on that for like 20 to 30 minutes. So when they saw like the graph results, they were like, well, you're definitely starting labor. I was like, woohoo, today is the day. And so I saw my gynecologist and she checked me to see how dilated my cervix was. And let me tell you guys, these checks are not very comfortable, and I did not dilate much more from the first time that I ever was checked, which was at 36 weeks. I started like at 0.5, and then I went to 1 centimeter. And so she said she stretched me till 3, so that when I'm ready to go to the hospital, they can't deny me entrance. And so yeah, that was a little hurtful, but all is well. So she was like, go home and, you know, keep time of your contractions, but as long as you can stay home, like stay home and like, you know, let them get more intense until like I can't take it anymore. So I honestly could have went longer, but my husband is the worry bug, so he was like, hey, let's go. So when I first got into the car from the doctor, he was like, oh my god, do I have time to cut the grass? And I'm like, okay, you're gonna cut the grass now, but sure, why not? Go cut the grass, because we do have time. I'm gonna, you know, try to wait it out. So he literally cut the grass when we got home, and then he came back inside and he was like, do I have time to shower? And I was like, yeah, go shower. And then when he was like, okay, we're going to the hospital, the whole time he said he wasn't going to have a hospital bag, he started like packing everything. I was like, you should have had this ready a long time ago. Like, you're stressing me out, you know, looking at you. Then he started like shoving food down his face and everything, and I was like, are you feeling okay? Like, he seemed more nervous than I was. So off we went to the hospital. We had to leave little Ollie here, and he was well taken care of by his parents and our neighbors and things like that. But we felt so bad leaving him. We wish we could have, like, you know, left the hospital and have John walk him, but once we got in, we were not allowed to leave whatsoever. So we got there and they took us right in. They checked our temperature and everything like that, and we went into the labor and delivery room. They made me change, and they also gave me some ice chips. I was super thirsty. I wasn't allowed to eat anything or drink any water at this point on, so that was that. But I had an obsession with ice cubes to begin with, so I was a-okay with that. So my contractions started getting more and more intense, and finally, like, the nurses came in and they decided to put me on Pitocin. I'm not really sure if I, you know, had a plan of how I wanted my labor to go, because I really didn't. I'm not a fan of, you know, using drugs and things like that, but whatever was gonna get this baby out or whatever. I feel like I should have done more research in general on like what Pitocin is. I had no idea what it was, and now knowing what it does, it just strengthens your contractions. But I feel like mine were getting more intense anyways, and I feel like that might have like messed me up somehow. I have no idea, but this is where like it started going all wrong, and I'll explain why. So my gynecologist, like, when I spoke to her at the clinic, like, she was like, you're gonna have this baby today, like everything's gonna go well, da 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 da. I said, okay, great. So, you know, we got to the point where my contractions were getting really intense.
Are you? There you go, babe. Muscle it, babe. Atta girl. You feel pressure in the anus?
I'm starting to feel it.
That's where your butthole is, you know that, right?
What?
Fight it. Oh, you are so beautiful when you're contracting. There you go, girl.
I feel...
We're gonna show either Audrina May or Jaden Matthew one of those things.
It's not that name.
It is. It's not Jaden Gray. Jaden Matthew. Don't forget Jaden Matthew. If you're a boy, I chose your middle name. Fight, mama, fight.
I ended up having an epidural, and the thing that sucked about this epidural is when I spoke to some of my friends who have gotten an epidural before, they had a little button where they can just have more go into their body. I had to keep getting the anesthesiologist called so he can keep tapping off my epidural, and my epidural honestly lasted for 1 hour, and they were actually really shocked that it was just lasting an hour for me. So the amount of epidural that was in my body was a lot. Okay, I was in labor for a really, really long time. It was honestly really intense. I had to keep reminding myself to breathe. And for anyone about to go through labor, let me tell you, there are different techniques of breathing, and I watch YouTube videos on this, and let me tell you, they really help, so I would check that out. So when it was time to check me of how much I dilated, I was told that I didn't make any progress, so they decided to break my water on their own because they thought the Pitocin would help, but it did not. So they broke my water and a lot of stuff came gushing out. It just felt like a flood was happening. I didn't get to see anything, but that was that. And so they were hoping, you know, I would keep progressing. And so the next time they checked me, they said I got dilated to 5 centimeters, but the thing was I kept gushing out more fluid. And it was a lot. They were like, why, you know, like they were confused themselves. So I got checked a few more times, to be honest, and there was this one doctor working with my like primary gynecologist, and I didn't like her from the beginning, neither did my husband. This guy is like on a scratching spree over here. Do you want me to help you itch your ear? Okay. So when she checked me, after a nurse checked me and said I was progressing, I was dilated to 7 centimeters, I got so excited. Like, I started feeling the pain in my hips, as well as that feeling and urge to poop. I know that sounds weird, but it means you're getting close to labor. And I started shivering like so much. I thought something was wrong. Like, I couldn't stop shivering. Like, it was like intense like shaking of my body. I was like, what is going on? I was like literally losing my mind, and at one point I was like about to just like rip off John's hand because I was like, somebody just get this baby out. Like, I was like, come on, let's go. So she came in to check me, the doctor that I didn't like, and then she all of a sudden told me that I wasn't 7 centimeters dilated, I was more like 5, and that I was effaced like -1 when like few hours before that I was at +1, and she was the one who checked me. So I was like, what is going on? Why am I going completely backwards? Like, I thought I was supposed to be moving forwards with dilation and the effacement and everything like that, but no, I was moving backwards instead. So the nurses that were there, I was like, listen, I said, I don't feel comfortable with her opinion. I said, can somebody get my gynecologist here, because I want a second opinion, because she started telling me how I need to go in for a C-section. And I was like, lady, I don't mind going for a C-section. I just don't like that doctor. I don't understand how I went from like here to here, like backwards. And they were like, yeah, like I don't understand either. So I was like, okay. So she came in, and honestly, she said the same exact thing. And because I was checked so many times, because so much fluid kept coming out and I wasn't progressing, I did end up getting an infection. So I did end up getting a fever, so I started taking antibiotics as well. I swear at this point I was like on so many different things, like going through my body, like from drugs to antibiotics to everything. So then I had to sign papers for the C-section. I was like, okay. I mean, it wasn't ideal for me. I didn't want a C-section if I didn't have to. But what happened, apparently, the baby at first was head down, like facing, like ready to go. And then he moved. I don't know how. He ended up like moving his head like here. So because he was a pretty big baby, they were like, there's no way you're pushing this baby out. So C-section it was. So they told my husband to stay in the room for 15 minutes, that they would come and get him after that. So when you go into this room, first of all, I was already like drowsy and everything from everything going on. They literally spread you apart like a dead doll. I'm not even kidding. You can't really move. And you get even more drugs, obviously, to numb you from here on down completely. And they take like a wipe or something to like see if you're completely numb there. And then hubby comes in, doesn't get to see anything like going on after they set me up. You have like this big blue blanket, not a blanket, whatever they use in front, so you can't see anything. And you know, John's just there by my side, can't obviously see the surgery going on. So they're like, you're gonna feel a slight pressure happening, you know, when they cut you open. And I swear, when they started cutting me open, I was like, oh my god, like I can feel it. Like somebody just give me more drugs to get me more numb, because I was like, I think I could really feel it. And he was like, oh my god, like really? And I was like, yeah, just whatever. It's May 30th at 5 o'clock when the C-section is going on. And let me tell you, it was so fast. Like from the moment they cut me to like 3 seconds later, I just heard a baby crying. Baby was out, and I'm thinking to myself, we couldn't do this from the beginning. I know that you're not allowed to choose for your first baby whether you're gonna have a C-section or a natural birth, but if I knew that C-section was that fast, I would've been like, hello, did we have to make me suffer for that long? It was literally, I mean, we got to the hospital like at 3 o'clock the day before. I was 26 hours, you know, feeling these contractions that were like super intense and just getting more intense in general. And then I find out, you know, I need to have a C-section. I was like, somebody couldn't have checked me earlier and told me this. But all is well. Baby was crying, happy, healthy.
Forecasting and how to smooth the numbers and, you know, inputting the stuff. If you have like 10 Medicare patients and private pay, how you like jumble it together and get the, I understood the concept, getting the math and all was a little harder for me to do myself.
I love you. I love you, baby. I know. I know. I know. It's okay. I know.
That, you know, whatever, that sign, that number, all that into the computer. You know, it's like the good Excel, like plugging it, or I just,
So big.
finance, which is all hard. That was the hardest class. And
You look like Mama when she cries.
it's terrible.
John got to feel the full emotions of, you know, seeing the baby. I was completely just like dead and lifeless there, and I just saw his face, and he got to hold him first. And I kind of wish I was able to, you know, do like skin on skin contact and everything like that. I feel like that's something that I missed during my labor and delivery. But what can you do? They had to take him away for 6 hours because they needed to monitor him, because I had the bacterial infection. They wanted to make sure he was okay as well. So honestly, these 6 hours passed by pretty quickly because I was so drowsy I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I didn't really like feel like any emotions either. I was just honestly like lifeless, like, and I've never had any surgeries or anything done beforehand, so it was just a lot. And you know, they're telling me like all this information, having me stay in this like room or whatever, and like they moved me, and I was literally just falling asleep, just so thirsty. I was so hungry at that point too. I was like, can I eat? And they're like, no. I was like, can I drink some water? They're like, no, you could still just have ice cubes. I was like, okay, like somebody give me water. So after a few hours they were able to give me water finally. So when we got into the room, what is it, the postpartum room? I have no idea. Ollie, nobody wants to see your butt. Can you move out of the way? Thank you. Oh, you can sit here. Sit next to Mama. Good boy. Good boy. I love you. So once we got there, they did let Jaden come in an hour earlier just so I can latch him onto my breast and feed him a little bit and see, you know, if he can get a good latch, also to have some skin contact with him. So that was really nice.
I'm Mary. I'm taking care of the baby in the nursery. Okay. Okay. And he can only stay out maybe for like 20 minutes. So you might want to try nursing him soon. He does go like right after his hand, as soon as it goes near his mouth. There you go. Did you get to hold him back there?
No.
No, huh? Just because we have him on the monitor in there to watch him, that's what all the wires are. Okay?
So she can breastfeed him, or like
Yeah,
the
she
skin
can
to skin?
breastfeed him, yeah.
So should we?
I have no idea how to start that.
Sure. Let me take his little shirt off him.
Okay. Oh,
Here
he does have little lashes,
I
John.
told you he looks just like me.
Oh, here, let me just grab the other side of him. Here we go.
Oh,
Okay.
he is so cute.
Oh my goodness.
Which side do you feel most comfortable to try first with the breastfeeding?
I think this one.
I won't record the breastfeeding.
Oh, that's up to
How
you two.
about this side? I feel like
Oh,
it's gonna,
okay.
Well, let's do it. Why not? Your mom's
Okay,
gonna love this
sorry.
video.
We're
I
gonna,
feel like the latch will be better because my nipple shape is.
oh, okay. So you just kind of,
Oh,
Then
shit.
look
Yeah.
down this way.
yeah.
Okay.
And what you're going to do is hold him with this hand and then use this hand to manipulate your nipple to bring it to his mouth. Let's see if he'll start.
There you go. No.
And then they took him away again, and then they brought him back fully for the rest of the night for us. And let me tell you, the experience was just a lot of emotions going on. I mean, the joy to have, you know, a little beautiful baby boy, the pain of everything going on, feeling helpless, and I couldn't sit up by myself, I couldn't get up by myself, I couldn't even like move or like roll over or get comfortable in the bed. We were there for I think 3 days. So because of coronavirus and everything going on, they did shorten the time span that you stay there anyways, but the worst part was we couldn't even leave the room. Like, we couldn't walk in the hallway, we couldn't do anything. My husband was literally losing his mind. He kept ordering food, and even if we ordered food, the nurses had to pick it up from like the Uber guy, the Uber Eats person, and they brought it to us in the room. So like, we could not leave whatsoever. I couldn't shower, I couldn't do anything. It was literally just, I felt useless. The only thing that I was good for at the moment was to breastfeed. John had to do all the diaper changes and everything like that, which I'm great for.
What's wrong with this baby? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to touch you there. Sorry. Did that hurt? Sorry, buddy. They're gonna slice you up, buddy. His testicles look big though. Oh yeah, it's like green and black. It's disgusting.
Don't make me laugh. It hurts to laugh.
I need wipes. Where are the baby wipes? We have baby wipes?
Yeah, but John, you're supposed to wet those.
What?
There are wipes. Those are the wipes.
Same thing.
Just do those because he's probably sensitive at first to like stuff.
I'm supposed to pick up his feet like this, right?
Yeah, and it's gonna be going down. She's coming, the nurse.
I got you.
But you don't do it dry.
It's alright. Relax.
John, you don't do it dry.
Relax. Don't kick. Don't kick.
Oh my goodness.
Don't kick.
Daddy's first time changing a diaper. What are you doing?
I'm wiping down.
I thought you were waiting for the nurse.
No, I'm gonna do it now.
No, you have to wipe down.
I am wiping down.
But don't keep attracting stuff in the...
I'm not.
Ew. John, you have no idea what you're doing, do
I'm
you?
gonna learn where you're going.
But John, maybe take a few wipes. Don't keep wiping.
Come in. I'm working on it.
Oh,
He's so confused.
I'm not confused. It's easy. You gotta lift up the legs,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
This is hilarious.
You can wet the...
The thing, yeah, with the other one, I'm gonna go
Okay,
in again.
good.
The poop's in there, like green and black.
Is that the first one? Like the...
I was also thankful for the fact that family could not be there. I know that sounds terrible because I know a lot of people love the idea of having their parents be there and enjoy the experience and everything like that. But honestly, in a way, this pandemic was a positive thing for that, because I don't know, I would feel super overwhelmed having people in the room while I can't move, while I'm in pain, while I'm trying to breastfeed, and just feel super uncomfortable. So that's just my opinion. I know for some other people it just sucked to go through that, especially giving birth during this time. But it was nice to go home a little bit earlier as well, even though I wasn't fully healed. I couldn't even like get myself in the car. I had help with that. It was just really difficult trying to walk, but they made sure like I could walk. I needed to pee before I left the hospital. I also needed to give a good breastfeeding session for Jaden before I left the hospital as well. I was able to take off the stuff, whatever that was covering my cut, and I was also able to take a shower in the hospital. So that was that. And now Jaden is going to be 7 weeks old on Saturday. Time has like went by like crazy. Like I don't even know where the time has gone. He was just a newborn. He has changed so much already. I'm going to do a 1 month update video for you guys as well, because I did learn a lot, especially as a first time mom, like things that can happen, the things that do happen, and just overall it's a whole big learning process. It's stressful at times, it's definitely joyful at times, and you just gotta take it day by day, and know that you're doing the best that you can. But honestly, if I had to do labor all over again, you know, it's funny, some people like ask you like, you know, you're gonna have more kids, and they're like, oh, ask me like 6 months to a year. I would still love to have more kids. I'm not afraid to go through it all over again. I'm sorry for my phone ringing.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, so people ask like if you had to do it all over again, would you? I definitely would. I still want to have more kids. I don't know when exactly, but I would love to have them close in age. But you really do forget all that pain and all, you know, everything that you went through. It just is a memory of like, oh, you know, it went by really fast, and my baby was born and he was healthy and beautiful, and then we went home, and that's pretty much the whole story. But in reality, it is a lot. There's some women who go through labor and it's just like 4 hours, and there's some who go through 30 hours. I was definitely one of the longer ones, but it's a-okay. For the next one, I probably will try for a natural delivery, but they did tell me that they'll be able to know like ahead of time if I'm gonna need to have a C-section again, and they do cut in the same spot. I have to say, like, where they cut is super low and it's like beautifully done, so I can't complain about that. It was a great job. I could still wear bikinis and things like that, but I would like to experience a natural delivery, kind of the whole thing about it, but we'll see what I'm able to do. So that is my labor and delivery story, my birth story. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to hear your stories as well. Everyone always has their own story, and they're all great to hear. So if you guys want to share yours, please leave it down below. And that's about it. So I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.